Okay, so you're ready to create your very own Google site. Please keep in mind that this is a video, so if at any point I move too quickly or you miss something that I said, please stop or pause, rewind a little bit, watch over again, continue a little bit on your own site, and then press play again. I'm going to go through things kind of quickly, so please feel free to do that at any time as you're learning at your own pace. Okay, so you're at Google Sites, and remember, if you didn't get there, you're on your toolbar. You can find your Google site, and you're going to press Create. The gallery does give you some options. There are some classroom websites already set up, but I find it easier to start from scratch on the blank template because otherwise you have to delete some other language, and it's just more of a pain to delete something somebody has already done than just start from scratch on your own. So you're going to name your site. I use my own name. So for my class, I would write Mrs. Shannon's class. But then when you look down here in the website, these are what your kids are going to have to type into the URL to get to that page, and it looks pretty long. So you can delete this, and you want to come up with something a little bit easier. Something easy to remember. So maybe just your last name, Shannon. And then what do you want your website to look like? So you can select a theme. Now there's a lot of options. And so what I want you to do right now is just select one. It doesn't really matter. You could pause the video and look through them. But I'm just going to click on Notebook. I teach ELA and we write, so why not Notebook? If you keep scrolling down to the bottom, there's a More Options button. And here's where you can write in those site categories. What subject do you teach? Or what types of things do you cover? You can also write a site description. So categories for me would be ELA and Social Studies. And I'm just going to separate them by making a comma. And then once you're done, you've selected your theme, you've named your URL, and you've named your page, selected your categories, if you want to, then you can press Create. And there it is, your very own website. Now for the URL, because we're using the school server, ms83.us, you're going to have more options. But I know, because I've done it, that if I make one on my own Google account, just through Google itself, the URL with Shannon just itself is not going to be available. And as we start to grow, subject areas might be taken, so you might have to be a little clever with what you want to come up with for your school website URL. So here's your website. These are a couple of things. Anytime you click the home button, it's going to bring you back to this main page. Over here is going to be your sidebar, and you'll add items here. You'll learn how to do that today. These two buttons right here are really helpful. Anytime you want to create a new page, whether it's homework assignments or books you'll need to read, whatever you want to make for your different pages, this is where you'll make them using the New Page button. Anytime you want to edit, you'll just find the pen. Find this pen and edit any page. So I want to change my home page. I don't want it to be called Home. I'd rather it be called Welcome. So I can change that right here. So welcome 8th graders and family. I'm excited to have you in my ELA class this fall, and so on. I might even add a picture. So you're going to notice that this looks like any word processor. You've got your center alignment. I can make it bold if I highlight it. I can change the font and the size. So very similar to any other word processor that you've probably used, the colors. You can even add links in here. This is the link button. You just highlight your text that you want to be the link. Click link. You can add another web address where you want it to bring you to. You could add different pages that you want it to go to, and so on. And also up here, if I want to insert anything, whether it's a document from Google Docs, a drawing, a presentation, a picture, if you use Picasa photos, you can add pictures in that way. Spreadsheets, YouTube videos, any of those things can be added onto any of these web pages. You can also change the layout of your web page if you like columns or you want your sidebar to be a little bit bigger. You can do that. So feel free to play around with these different layouts. You can insert tables. You can just select your rows and columns. You can delete. You can change the formatting of them and so on. So just like any other word processor. And when you're done, you're just going to click Save. You have to click Save, unlike Google Docs. So this is your sidebar here, and you want to add some more pages to your sidebar. The first page that I want to add is reading assignments. So I'm going to select New Page, and I'm going to call it Reading Assignments. And then just click Create. And you're going to see that it shows up down here. I can start typing. Your only assignment in ELA is to read for 30 minutes each night. And I'm going to change that and make sure it says homework. Okay. And so on. I can keep typing, I can insert other documents and whatnot. Now, you're going to notice that there's a spot where it says add files and comments. If you are allowing other people to edit your website, they'll be able to do these things. And I know teaching middle school that when I've allowed them to comment, I've had to talk about that it's not used as a chat, more as a way of notifying each other or keeping each other updated. So these can become an issue. I also kind of think they're a little bit distracting. If I have a file that I want to add, I'm going to upload it to my Google Docs and then insert a document instead, so that that's either there to show up right here in this space, or it'll be a link for them to get to the Google Doc. The biggest thing is that you need to remember that anything you share using Google Docs, whether it's a form, a presentation, or just a regular old document, you need to share it. You need to share it with anyone who has the link, because if you don't, they won't be able to open it. So I want to get rid of these comment bars and these add files. So I need to make sure I press Save. And I scroll up, and it's right here under this More button, under Page Settings. And I'm going to unselect Allow Attachments and Allow Comments, and then press Save. And then they're gone, and it looks like just a regular old web page. I also want to add in here a couple of links that we'll be using in class. So I'm going to click More, and if I go down to Manage Site is going to be another useful thing to remember. Under Manage Site, I can change my sidebar, I can change my colors and my fonts if I don't care for them. I can change the theme. Remember, if you didn't like the colors that you selected for your background, you can check out different themes. But site layout is where I'm going to go to. Now, a navigation bar is the sidebar that I had where you could click on the different links. I want to create one that's just text. So you can create one that has different activity going on, maybe a countdown, people that have been working on your page. I'm going to click the one that's just text. I'm going to edit, and I will call this one Books We'll Read This Year. Well, we're going to read, and I need to remember that I need to underline it, so I'm going to use my text, The Outsiders, and we're also going to read Diary of Anne Frank. Okay. I press OK. And then I make sure I press Save. And I want to go back to my web page, see what it looks like. So I click on Mrs. Shannon's class. And now you'll see that I've got my sidebar here that allows me to click on links. And then I've got one that's just text. So those kids could go find those books in the library, or if they want to read them on their own ahead of time, they could do that. I'm going to click on More, and then go back to the Manage Site, and I want to show you one last thing. thing that you do not want people to see, you need to make sure that it's private. If you want parents and students to look at it that aren't signed in, then you need to make sure that they're available to do that. Right now, students, teachers, staff at MS83 can find my website and they can edit it. They can change anything. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not so sure that I want the kids to get on and change my website. So I went to sharing and permissions, and I'm going to go to change. These two right here are the two that you would use for your students or for your parents. I think personally that anybody with the link is probably the safest choice for you. People do not need to sign in to take a look at it, but then again, it's not in a search when you search for my name. People at MS83, if I just want students and staff to look at it, I can click here. People who have the link, or maybe I don't want you to look at it all. I'm not ready for you to see my website yet. I'm still working on it. I can make it private. And then I can click save. How about if you just decided, this website's not working for me. I need to start over from scratch. Well, in that case, you can go to General. You can change your name if you need to. You can change your main welcome page, or maybe you just want to delete it. I already have my own website set up, so I'm actually going to delete this one, and then this URL will still be available within 30 days if I want to come back to it, but I'm just going to delete it. I'm not going to use this website. So I click delete, and now you'll see that it's gone. This is the website that I have right now. If you want to go to any other additional resources, you can click back on my training website, which is sites.google.com/a/ms83.us/mrichardson. And there are actually a lot of good resources here. My student e-portfolio is on here just as an example of how e-portfolios could actually be used. My hopes are that someday our school district will be having these in the high school. It's a great opportunity for students to save their work and show you their understanding. Google Apps gives you a few more videos and examples, and the Google for Educators, check it out. There's some great resources on how you could actually use Google in your classroom. So, Google Apps, try to create a Google site and see what you can do.